in the state by President Bola Tinubu in March. At the session, lawmakers led by House Leader and Major Jack and Deputy Leader Linda Somairi-Stuart moved a motion calling for Governor Fubara to submit a fresh list of commissioner nominees and present a new budget proposal for the remainder of the year. The motion, supported by 26 members, also demanded a review of financial activities carried out during the emergency period, including contracts awarded and funds spent by the former sole dictator. Speaker Martin Amaewhule said the Assembly would formally write to the governor requesting the budget and the names of the nominees for the State Executive Council.
As an Assembly, we continue to abide by the terms of the peace pact between us, the governor, and all stakeholders for the interest of this state and, of course, for the good governance of their states. Thirdly, the House resolved that we should call on the Governor of River State, Siminalayi Fubara, GSSRS, to forward the list of his nominees for appointment as commissioners into the River State Executive Council, so that the wheel of governance in River State can begin to move in the direction it should move, knowing fully well that it is important that there should be an Executive Council that has to be constituted by men and women of integrity, people that were screened by the Riverside Assembly in line with the Constitution, people who are willing to assist the governor to make River State what it should be. The House also resolved that we should call on the governor to commence the process of forwarding an appropriation bill to the Riverside Assembly to cater for the financial plan that is expected to take us to the trajectory that Rivers people have been.
On Wednesday, a chieftain of the All Progressive Congress APC, Tonye Cole, has said that the suspended governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, will have absolutely no powers when he eventually returns to office. While Cole described the situation as problematic for such an important state, he highlighted the recurring political godfather-godson conflicts in Nigeria, which he says often harm democracy and the people. He also urged Fubara to negotiate with the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike for a working arrangement that allows sole decision-making by the governor. My colleague, Eferobor, has been on the ground in Rivers State, monitoring situation there. He joins me now alongside Tonye Cole, a former governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress in the state. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. Israel, let's get up to speed. It's 9 p.m. Nigerian time, and the governor is still nowhere to be seen. What are you hearing, or what information do you have about his whereabouts?
Felicity, what we have been able to gather so far is that no one can actually say where at this point in time the city is waiting to see where the governor is, asking the question, where is he, when will he step into the state? No one has a detail on the whereabouts of Governor Siminalayi Fubara as at this moment. We came into the to get word of where of activities that will be lined up and the return. But so far so good, has been shrouded in some sort of misery, as he's at this time is still unknown. Felicity.
Okay, Israel, just hold on a bit. I'll come back to you. I understand Austin Azu is at the airport and he joins us as well now live. Austin, is there any information you have as to the whereabouts of the state governor, or has there been any communication from the State House?
Good evening, Felicity. We are currently at the airport road. This road is the one that leads to the airport and as well connects to other areas of River State. Before now, from morning till now we have been on this particular issue of where is the governor. It's expected that he ought to be in town today. We were all through at the airport, watched, waiting for his arrival, and we went through all the processes at the airport, documentation and so on and so forth. By and large, the question remains, where is Governor Fubara? That's what we are still asking now. And everyone seems not to be providing the necessary answer that one needs to provide. And we are still waiting to hear further details. Is he going to come in the night or he's going to come in the morning? So that's the question we are still asking. But however, like we keep saying, we'll keep you updated whatever is happening here in Rivers, particularly regarding the arrival of the governor.
All right, Israel, you are in the main town. Talk to us about the mood in the state since the lifting of the state of emergency and the reinstatement of sacked officials, including the lawmakers, who we understand had a sit-in today.
Well, actually, I'm at Sunny Abacha Road here in the main city here in Port Harcourt, and the situation here is calm and everyone excited. I spoke to a few locals here today, and they did express optimism on the fact that Governor Siminalayi Fubara is back, according to what we have been told, is back on paper, but we are yet to see him. They are excited, they are calm, they are hoping that the last 6 months will something that they can quickly forget and move on and let democracy take over here in Rivers State. Contrary to what some people may think, the state is indeed really calm. The people have expressed full support. From those I spoke, they expressed full support for the return of Governor Siminalayi Fubara. As for the lawmakers, yes, they did sit today, and the situation is still calm as well. We're hoping that they will find a way to move on. Though from the sit-in today, there were some motions that were made, like telling the governor to go ahead and represent a budget for the rest. The people are just hoping around.
Okay. I think we have a little bit of a challenge with Israel's audio, but he was just giving us update on what is happening at the moment, which is exactly nothing. Everywhere seems calm. The governor who was reinstated is yet to be seen. Austin, is there a final thought you have on situation at the airport road? Were there people like your journalists and just citizens like yourself on that axis earlier today?
Yes, we have a handful of other journalists who were actually on the ground to ensure that they capture the first entrance of the governor. Obviously, they waited all through and they couldn't get what they came for. So most of them started leaving one after the other after going through the rigorous process from gaining access into the airport. Nevertheless, besides that, it was expected that we ought to have seen, let's say, for instance, political pressure groups, just like what they had at Government House, to welcome the governor back to the state. But at the airport, there was nothing like that. We didn't see any of them. Even the people we met at the airport, we tried to talk to them. Most of them were not even aware that the governor will be coming back to the city today. And like what most of them expressed, they were quite happy. The political atmosphere in Rivers today is saturated with mixed feelings, hoping to see their governor after 6 months outside the seat of power. And some of them equally, gave a lot of advice and a lot of things that the governor needs to work on, most especially from what some of the respondents talked about. That
all right, Austin, we have a guest standing by as well. So thank you very much for the update. Israel, thank you too. I'm sure we'll be back with you in the morning for further update. Let's bring in our guest, the chieftain of the All Progressive Congress and a former governorship candidate of the same party, Tonye Cole. Thank you for your patience with us tonight so we could get what the situation is on the ground. A long-awaited climax now seems to have left everyone in further suspense. Democracy is back, but we don't know where the governor is, and that's the question. My colleagues on the ground have no information. Do you have any idea where the governor is?
Nobody seems to know where the governor is right now. There was a lot of expectation that he would be coming into Rivers State today, but no one seems to know where he is.
It's curious, though, that with the drama eventually ended, Rivers people had to wait, endlessly, and are still waiting for the arrival of the governor. But talk to us about the future of democracy in Rivers State. Did the state of emergency help matters at all? And you did raise a concern about the authenticity of the decision-making that will subsequently prevail with his reinstatement.
You know, I've had issues with having a state of emergency declared in Rivers State. I did not think it was the best for democracy, and we saw in the last 6 months that what it did essentially was that it just puts a hold on every democratic principle that we believed in. But now that has been brought to an end, and we're meant to be getting back into democratic action over the next year and a half. But now, with not being sure where the governor is, whether he's coming back, maybe he's changed his mind and has decided that he's no longer happy with the agreement that he made, nobody knows. And I think this is just putting another spanner in the works. We need to bring democracy back into Rivers State. And for now, everything seems to be suspended.
Yeah, I asked about your comments about the returning governor, the state he might be in regards to a decision making, where you correctly quoted when you said he needs to have perhaps an agreement with the FCT minister in terms of allowing him to make sole decisions as it affects the state. Add to that question, I hope you can get them all. The state's House of Assembly has had their sitting today, even in the absence of the governor. At the moment, we don't know the validity of that and the moves that they have made to want to write to the governor for commissioner nominee budgets and the like. Doesn't that give an indication that perhaps democracy is creeping back in?
No, because if you remember that what began this entire fight was exactly this. You had a state of assembly that was very divided from where the governor stood. And every candidate, every commissioner, everybody that had been appointed did not have any iota of input from the governor. And that's really what started it. And we're back to square one. So we're back to another scenario where the governor does not seem to have any say or any power. Now, whether or not he wants to govern in that manner is something to see. The fact that he hasn't come back may be an indication that he's still not happy about the turn of events. Now, if he does come back and everything remains the same, he still is unable to nominate his commissioners, nominate the people who work with him, and he gets into a situation where he is a governor that really does not have any say in how he governs, then we may be back into another status quo. Now, what will he do? Will he choose to go back and fight again, or just decide that this time around he will just let things be and sign whatever he has to sign and have no say? I think he's in a very, very difficult situation right now.
All right. The Rivers State House of Assembly has called for a review of funds spent during the emergency period. I had a guest here last night, and the night before, Professor Peterside, who also talked about the need for a review of what transpired in the last 6 months. What are your thoughts on that as an effort to rebuild public trust in governance?
Well, so that has been, I've thought about that quite a bit. And I think if the government goes into probing the last 6 months, it means that we're absolutely going to have one term of a government that nothing has been done. And I don't think this is the time. if you ask me, we have less than about a year before full politics kicks in. And what Governor Fubara and the rest of the assembly should be doing is just ensuring that in the next 1 year, people actually feel that the government that was voted and took the reins of government is working for the people. And I don't think he has a lot of time. So probing the last administration may just be a colossal waste of time. We will end up looking at things and there will be no governance, no development, just a lot of scandal. I don't think that's what we need.
I guess we'll pause the conversation for now, pending further developments. Thank you very much, sir, for giving us your time.